This is a project proposal prepared for Albuquerque City Council on how to combat opiate addiction in Albuquerque. So you might ask, what are opiates? Opiates are typically prescribed for the treatment of pain. They come from opium, which is a type of poppy plant. Opium is highly addictive and can cause overdose if misused. There are many different types of opiates. The main ones include codeine, heroin, Vicodin, oxycodone, Percocets, and many others. So what are the effects of opiate addiction? There are many different kinds of effects of opiate addiction on both the brain and on the body. On the brain, when using opioids, the drug will attach itself to opioid receptors which are located in the brain, spinal cord, gastrointestinal tract, etc. When the opioids successfully attach to these receptors, it will reduce the body's perception of pain, which is how the medication is used as a pain medication. Specifically with heroin, long-term use can completely alter the brain. With excessive heroin use, the body loses its ability to produce dopamine on its own. Essentially, addiction to heroin will lead the brain to crave the drug and stress when the craving is not quenched. The effects on the body can cause you to become easily drowsy, nauseous, constipated, extreme weight loss, etc. The immediate effects on the body include a rush, which can cause an immediate urge to begin vomiting. Eventually, when going into overdose, heroin can put you into a coma, which often leads to death if not immediately treated. While on heroin, it is very common to have clouded mental functioning as well, causing you to make cloudy choices and decisions. So what is the current situation? Across the state of New Mexico, opiate addiction is increasingly becoming more of an issue, leading to a plague of overdose and deaths by overdose. Substance abuse as a whole is a major problem in New Mexico, leading many other states across the country in drug addiction. According to statistical data collected in 2013, New Mexico has the second highest drug overdose rate in the country. This data is for drug addiction overall, but it is well known that opiates are among the highest in the addiction rates for the state. Over the past 40 years, federal and state governments have spent over $1 trillion into the drug wars, and taxpayers are picking up the bill. Why not have taxpayers and the government spend their money to help the addicts themselves? People can get these drugs nearly anywhere, from doctors, dealers, friends, relatives, thefts, another addict, strangers, really anywhere. The problem has gotten so bad that current centers cannot keep up with demand. So what is the proposed solution? I'm proposing that increased funding of rehabilitation centers, inpatient treatment centers, outpatient rehab centers, and public awareness centers will help combat this problem. There are many types of methods already in place to help combat opiate addiction, such as rehabilitation centers. Some in Albuquerque include Viewpoint Center, Turquoise Lodge, Santa Fe Recovery Center, and there are many others. These are just a few that don't use the Suboxone method. But rehab can become very expensive. It can usually range between $10,000 to $20,000 per month, depending on the person's insurance. There are also many non-profit groups in Albuquerque, such as the HAC, which is the Heroin Awareness Committee, and the IHH, which is the I Hate Heroin, and AA groups. In these groups, you can talk to other addicts about their problems and relate to them about what you have gone through as well that is very similar because of the addiction. There is also medical treatment. Medical treatment can include Suboxone treatment, which is a medication that is used to help heroin addicts with withdrawal. Some places in Albuquerque that use Suboxone are the Presbyterian Casement Hospital and the Sage Neuroscience Center, which also offer outpatient treatment. Although Suboxone can help the withdrawal stage, it ultimately does more harm than good because it is also another addictive drug. During the times of withdrawal, doctors will be there to help aid the addicts through the stages of withdrawal. Counseling is another method to help aid in combating opiate addiction. There are many different types of counseling. Some are the group meetings such as AA, but there's also personal counseling, which is individual assessment of the addiction. Here there is a behavioral background analysis, which is also assessed, which includes family history, mental problems, pre-existing mental health, or drug-induced mental problems. Typically, addicts do not have the funds to partake in most recovery methods due to excessive amounts of money spent on the drugs that they are using. Or they may have a less fortunate family background, which is where all of these methods come into play, and it would be much more helpful for all of these addicts to go ahead and partake in recovery if they were more cost efficient for them. So what would this budgeting entail? First, we would need to create a proposal to increase funding from state and health taxes, which will go towards local rehabilitation centers and nonprofit groups based on spreading awareness and combating opiate addiction. We would need to raise each tax by an additional 1%, even 2%, whatever would work. The goal is to raise between $50,000 to $100,000 within a year. With all the people on welfare and the range of people's incomes in the Albuquerque metro area alone, that should be pretty doable. And to raise awareness for this bill and proposal, I would need to put an ad in local newspapers as well, detailing the problem and benefits of the bill passing. We'll also be accepting volunteer donations that can go towards rehabs and organizations. A few that don't use Suboxone are Viewpoint Rehabilitation Center, Turquoise Lodge, Santa Fe Recovery Center, and for organizations like Heroin Awareness Committee and the I Hate Heroin Committee. I personally don't like ones that use Suboxone because of the potential harm that it can do, but ones that do use Suboxone as treatment that could also accept donations are Presbyterian Casement Hospital, and the Sage Neuroscience Center that also offer outpatient treatment, but they offer Suboxone as well. So what are the benefits of this budget? The benefits here would be increased awareness statewide of the opiate addiction problem. By increasing the funding to rehabs, the rehabs will be able to accept more clients year-round, which will contribute to lower overdose and drug-related crime rates. Another benefit from this funding is that more addicts will be able to afford treatment and take that extra step towards recovery with the help of our state funding. I conclude my presentation by reiterating the fact that addiction is increasingly becoming more of an issue, leading to a plague of overdose and deaths by overdose across the state of New Mexico. Substance abuse as a whole is a major problem in New Mexico, and most drugs are often a gateway drug that can lead to other addictions, specifically ones as serious as opiates. The proposed solution is that the city of Albuquerque proposes a bill that provides increased funding for public awareness groups, both individual and public, as well as more affordable treatment centers to help combat the increasing problem of opiate addiction across the state, which can also be made an example of for treatment across the country. Treatment ideally needs to be readily available to anyone seeking treatment, which will absolutely improve the rates of opiate addiction and hopefully prevent overdose. So if we propose this bill and get the funding we need, the problem should be greatly decreased.
And this is the Works Cited page, and thank you for listening.